Hey everyone, so you know how sometimes you just feel like your life is a little chaotic, like you're constantly running on fumes, things are piling up, and you just can't seem to get ahead? Well, if that sounds familiar, then you absolutely need to hear about this incredible book I just dove into called Get Your Shit Together by Sarah Knight. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let me just say, this isn't your grandma's self-help book, and if you're looking for tips on, shall we say, scat play, this isn't the book for you either. Sarah Knight is an anti-guru, as the Observer magazine anointed her. And she's not afraid to use the word shit like 332 times, she counts. But here's the thing, it's not gratuitous, it's refreshing, it's direct, and it perfectly sets the tone for a book that's all about cutting through the bullshit and actually taking control of your life. So why did I pick this one up? Honestly, I've had my own oh shit moments. Sarah talks about hers realizing she hated her corporate job and feeling constantly unhappy, leading to panic attacks. And you know, we've all been there, right? Maybe it's a mounting credit card balance. Or those favorite jeans that just don't fit anymore. This book isn't about tidying up your physical clutter, like those 300-page guides that make you thank your old winter coat for its service. Instead, it's about decluttering your mind, getting your career, finances, creative pursuits, relationships, and health in order. It's about moving from that feeling of being stuck in a rut, maybe one shaped like a pair of comfy sweatpants and filled with stale beer, to living the life you truly want and deserve. One of the biggest takeaways, and something Sarah reiterates throughout, is that getting your shit together is not about packing your calendar to the brim or sacrificing your mental and physical health just to tick off a never-ending to-do list. It's about finding an easier, better way to manage your life so the shit that needs doing gets done, and you don't go crazy along the way. She calls this winning at life, and it's not about crushing your enemies or being an insufferable prick like she playfully jabs at Charlie Sheen. It's about competing only with yourself, clearing your own path to what you want out of your time on Earth, whether that's a dream job, a new home, or just going a week without drowning in your own inbox. So how do we actually do this? Sarah introduces her core framework, what she calls GIST theory, which boils down to three simple yet powerful steps: strategize, focus, and commit. She brilliantly ties these to everyday items you always have with you: your keys, your phone, and your wallet. Your keys are your ability to strategize. They unlock the next steps. It's about setting a clear goal and breaking it down into small, manageable chunks. She gives an amazing personal example of wanting to quit her corporate job. Her goal was freedom, and her strategy was to save 3 months' worth of expenses. She amortized it, which is just a fancy word for spreading it over time, over a whole year. Your phone is your ability to focus, to make those calls. Mark that calendar. Once you have your chunks, you set aside dedicated time for each one. So for her saving goal, every morning she focused for a couple of minutes, opened her banking app, transferred money, and colored in a square on a chart on her fridge. No distractions, just one task at a time. Like she says, it's about single tasking. And finally, your wallet represents commitment, putting your real or metaphorical money where your mouth is. It's actually doing the work. You've strategized, you've focused, now you do the shit. She says, you're only as good as the last step you took. If you update your resume but never send it out, your shit is not officially together. Now, one of the most intriguing concepts in the book is the power of negative thinking. This isn't about being gloomy, it's about using what annoys you as a powerful motivator. Instead of aspiring to be richer or thinner, she suggests focusing on not being broke, fat, or messy. For Sarah, recognizing her unhappiness and wanting to eradicate it was what prompted her to leave her corporate job and move to the Caribbean, away from those miserable winters. It was less aspirational and more, get me out of this now, I can't take it anymore. She found that once she set a goal to eliminate the annoy, the joy revealed itself. You might be thinking, who needs this book? And Sarah has a hilarious answer, categorizing people into 3 Alvin and the Chipmunks archetypes. Theodore, the relatively hopeless who are chronically late, underprepared, and overwhelmed. They need help with the basics like keeping a calendar and showing up on time. Alvin, they cruise along just fine on the day-to-day but falter on bigger goals like retirement planning. They need that dash of discipline and a pinch of willpower for the big stuff. Simon, these are the ones who keep up appearances while dying from 1,000 self-inflicted cuts. They seem to have it all together, but underneath, they're overcommitted and struggling with prioritizations and boundaries. Sarah admits she was a Simon herself, famously suffering a panic attack at work due to overcommitment. So, whether you're a Theodore drowning in small tasks, an Alvin avoiding big plans, or a Simon secretly crumbling under pressure, this book has something for you. Let's dive a little deeper into how she applies these principles to everyday small shit and tough shit. For instance, time management. Sarah notes that many people, especially Theodore's, constantly say there's not enough time in the day, but often it's not a lack of time, it's a lack of understanding how long things actually take. She suggests timing yourself for daily tasks, like getting ready for work, to confront the reality of where your time goes. And speaking of time, she distinguishes between a to-do list and a must-do list. She recommends creating a running to-do list for everything. Then each morning, identifying what absolutely, truly, madly, deeply has to get done today, and moving those items to a fresh must-do list. This simple act of prioritizations makes your day much more approachable and combats fuck overloads, that state of anxiety and despair from too many obligations. And what about procrastination? Sarah has a quirky take: responsible procrastination. Instead of fighting it, use it. Postpone non-urgent tasks to help clarify your must-do list. She even suggests a procrastination journal to track all the random things you do to avoid what you should be doing, like cutting your cuticles or researching obscure skin conditions. Then there's impulse control, which she charmingly illustrates with the Wizard of Impulse Control metaphor. This fraud in a silly waistcoat behind the curtain of your brain leads you to eat cake when you're trying to diet, or stay in bed instead of hitting the gym. Her solution: make the sober decision beforehand. Decide before the impulse strikes, so you've already controlled it. And if you've ever felt buried under emails, you're not alone. Sarah calls email a bitch. Her approach to email management is simple: to purge, get to inbox zero or close to it by deleting, filing, or responding to everything in one fell swoop. And a key piece of advice: reduce the number of emails you send. Ask yourself, does this even fucking matter? She reminds us, brevity is the soul of wit for effective work email. When it comes to money, it's the same three-step process: strategize, focus, commit. If you're overspending by just $100 a month, break that down. That's $25 less a week, or even just $3.57 a day you need to not spend. She makes the point that you can easily find $3.57 on your daily spending list: a cup of coffee, lottery tickets, a pack of gum. This applies to big goals too, like saving for retirement. She provides charts showing how even saving $1 a day from age 25 can result in over $77 by age 65, thanks to compound interest. It's about patience and those small, manageable chunks. The book also delves into tough shit like responsibilities and relationships. She talks about adulting, dealing with rusty nails, doctor's appointments, expired passports, and thank you notes. For relationships, she breaks them down into maintain, improve, or dissolve. She suggests a relationship relay with your partner, a playful competition to be nicer, more helpful, or more loving. Who can come up with the perfect gift or the perfectly timed surprise? In a competition like this, everybody wins. It's about injecting some healthy competition into your relationship. And when it comes to work, she advises delegating. Even better than deciding not to worry about things you can't control is making someone else worry about them instead. She even champions hiring a professional if you can afford it. Sometimes getting your shit together is about admitting you don't have your shit together in a particular area. Don't be a martyr, she warns. You shouldn't be busy every hour of every day. Perhaps my favorite section, because it's so often neglected, is her take on me time and hobbies. She insists hobbies are right, not a privilege, and should be on your must-do list. They're crucial for maintaining happiness and balancing the annoyance of other tasks. She shares a hilarious anecdote about her doctor telling her to take more bubble baths to downregulate anxiety. It's about being selfish in a good way, prioritizing your health and well-being, because you can't give of yourself to others if there's nothing left of yourself to give. Happiness, she argues, is a goal in itself. Finally, we hit the deep shit: mental health. existential crises, and big life changes. These hurdles, like anxiety, avoidance, fear of failure, and perfectionism, are psychological hurdles that would put up in our own lanes. She emphasizes that, like everything else, these are tackled one small manageable chunk at a time. For anxiety, she offers ripping off the band-aid. Just do it. This too shall pass with a day. Sometimes it resolves itself, and the practice tests writing down your anxious thoughts to release them without actual confrontation. When it comes to fear of failure, she says it can be crippling, making you cause yourself even more agony surrounding the whole endeavor. Her advice? Accept that failure is an option. It's just a thing that happens, and it's not the end of the world. She wants you to sow yourself an A for acceptance, not an F for failure. And for the perfectionist out there like herself, she offers 12 steps for defeating perfectionism. Her core message here is don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Even Olympic gymnasts win without being perfect, so you can certainly win at your own life. Sarah also shares a deeply personal story about overcoming anorexia and bulimia in her teens, illustrating how she had to admit she needed help and relied on her mother for accountability, applying the "who raised you" strategy in its purest form. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, even with mental decluttering, it's okay to bring in reinforcements. The book constantly circles back to the idea that big life changes are made in small, manageable chunks. Whether it's moving across the world or becoming less of a perfectionist, you have to start somewhere, one unicorn flanked or one hoof in front of another. She even has a fun just bingo board with small steps like saving or not spending money, being on time, or exerting willpower, encouraging you to track your progress. And if you're still sitting there thinking, but my life isn't like that, or I don't even know what my problem is, she's got one final exercise in self-awareness called "I know you are, but what am I?" As she lists common complaints from her survey about other people: is really disorganized, is perennially late, complains about her job constantly but never looks for a new one. Then she asks you to read the list again, but this time substitute your own name. That twinge of brutal recognition is self-awareness, and it's the first step to changing. What does all this mean for us today, in a world that constantly tells us to strive for more, to be perfect, to be busy? Sarah Knight's book is a breath of fresh air. It gives you permission to let go of the shit you think you should be doing, so you can focus on the shit you need to do, and ultimately, the shit you want to do. It's incredibly relevant because we're all, to varying degrees, overwhelmed, distracted, and prone to self-sabotage. My recommendation? Pick up this book. Seriously. If you're tired of being stressed and burned out at work or stuck in a dead-end job, as some of her survey respondents said, Sarah makes a compelling case that the annoy of your current situation can be the ultimate motivator to finally get your shit together. The other side, as she puts it, is totally worth it. She even shares how she continues to apply her own methods when shit happens, like when writing this very book forced her to move constantly, reminding us that life is messy, but having your shit together helps you navigate it. So, if you're ready to transform your life, to find more freedom, more happiness, and less stress, this book provides the practical tools and the kick in the pants you might need. It's about taking those small manageable chunks and building the life you truly desire. It really is life-changing magic, without the need for a single introspective conversation with a winter coat.